guest, my new friend, who I met at CPAC, where he was part of a panel that I was moderating. Because if you want somebody to moderate something, if you want moderation, you find Kurt Schlichter. Representative Mark Green of Tennessee is the ranking member of the Latin America Subcommittee. We're going to talk about that, but Representative Green, we've got other news today. Welcome to the Hugh Hewitt radio program.
Hey, Kurt. Thanks for having me on the show. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. Now, you are a veteran of Afghanistan and Iraq.
Yep.
You are a West Pointer, which I will not hold against you. But we had something happen today. El Asad Air Base, which I assume you've visited, was attacked by 10 rockets today.
Yeah, yep, that's right.
This kind of provocation, which is pretty much par for the course from Iranian-backed militias. What is the sense of the Republican caucus as far as what an appropriate response to this is?
Well, obviously, you look at how President Trump responded last time with the first militia attack that occurred. He responded with basically hitting, I think it was 10 or 11 of their militia staging bases, both in Syria and Iraq. And I think that's the minimum thing that we should do. I mean, we have to respond in kind. The Iranians only respect power. They refused after Biden and the Erbil attack last week or the week before. They actually refused to talk to him after he said he would talk to them after they killed an American. So, I mean, they have no respect for this guy. They only respect power, and we've got to respond.
Is there a big concern among the Republicans in the House, Representative Mark Green, that the Biden administration is pretty much directionless with regards to dealing with the mullahs? On one hand, it wants to appease them by going back into the nuclear agreement. On the other hand, you know, it has kind of these minor send-a-message airstrikes that do nothing to shift the correlation of forces. They don't take out any actual combat power of the enemy. Look, I'm just a simple war college graduate, the Army War College, being a party war college. But I would put a couple ships at the bottom of the Persian Gulf because that changes the correlation of forces. That has not only the messaging information op effect, but it affects the military calculus. How concerned are you guys that these people just don't know what the hell they're doing?
I assume you're talking about the Biden administration and not the Iranians, because the Iranians clearly have a strategy that they've been basically executing since '79 when they first attacked the United States Embassy. Yeah, I don't think, Biden has always been a détente kind of guy. I mean, you go back to the way the Democrats confronted the Soviet Union. Even during his time as vice president, Barack Obama withdrew the missiles, the missile defense systems scheduled for Poland on the day, the 60th anniversary of the invasion of Poland by the Soviet Union. So, I mean, they have no clue. And why wouldn't they, being that stupid on this issue of foreign policy, why wouldn't he turn around and 2 days after an American is killed by an Iranian backed militia in Iraq, say he's going to talk to the Iranians? I mean, at least he's consistent. Let's put it that way, Kurt. At least they're consistent.
Yes, a consistent track record of total failure. Look, we met at CPAC, and CPAC this year was held in Orlando, and it was kind of a different feel than a lot of people expected. I noticed a lot of respect for Trump. I noticed a lot of appreciation of Trump. But this was not if you watch CNN, you get a different impression. But if you watch CNN, you've got other problems. It was not a Trump love fest. It was not all about Donald Trump. What's your thoughts on the feel of CPAC and the direction of the conservative movement?
Well, I think clearly President Trump is very much involved in the party going forward. But I mean, we've never been about an individual. We're about an ideology that is a strong America internationally, small government at home. You know, it's all about free markets for us and fairness, which implies, well, actually, it doesn't imply it. It requires personal responsibility. On the other side, they want a massive government. They think everybody else is too stupid to take care of themselves, and they have to slap masks on us and put us in basically the cage of our home because we're not smart enough to social distance and know how to handle a virus. I mean, this is who they are. They are, honestly, it's about tyranny. They concentrate power in Washington, D.C., basically to permanently put themselves in power. You look at House Resolution 1, you look at House Resolution 5, everything that Nancy Pelosi and the left is doing is concentrating power in Washington. Tyranny. Their socialist economic policies, example one. Whereas for us and CPAC and everything that we talked about while we were there was about reducing the size of government. It was about election integrity. It was about a strong America internationally and a strong military, which are all things that conservatives believe. But President Trump was there, and we had a great time hearing him speak and, basically say what I just said, who they are and who we are and what we stand for, and that we're going to continue to fight.
Well, Congressman Mark Green, before we talk about some important issues in Latin America, including Venezuela and immigration, I wanted to ask you something about your future, because I had the opportunity to spend some time with you. We had lunch together, in fact, after our panel, and I knew this is a guy I can get along with, despite him going to West Point, because you asked for a lot of ketchup, and for your cheeseburger. I was like, okay, yeah. I have a new best friend. But let me ask you, and you're from Tennessee, and you're from a fairly safe conservative district, I believe the 7th. What's the next step for you? Are you going to continue serving the people of the 7th, or are there other offices you might be looking at?
Well, I think eventually, at some point, I'd love to be the governor of Tennessee. I mean, I just love our state so much. I think eventually I'll make a run for that office. But right now, the people of the 7th District have picked me to serve them, and that's what I'm focused on. And I am enjoying my time as ranking member on the Western Hemisphere and International Economic Policy Subcommittee. And perhaps maybe someday I'll lead the House Foreign Affairs Committee. And eventually I'd love to be the governor of Tennessee.
Well, Representative Mark Green, there is a lot going on besides Iran and China in the foreign policy realm. Venezuela is a big issue, and you're taking the lead on that.
Yeah, we're actually today going to be holding a committee hearing on the issues in Venezuela. I mean, very clearly, it's not just about Venezuela, although the socialist policies that the Democrats want to enact here have been tried there and, as we all predicted, failed tremendously. One of the most resource-endowed countries in the world, biggest oil reserves in the world, a very wealthy country before, relatively speaking, before socialism came to power. And now it's 96% of its population are in poverty. But that is a tragedy. But the big risk to America are the others that are involved in Venezuela, and that's, of course, Cuba and China. And China being the big one. China is our biggest global competitor at a minimum, and potentially if you depending on whom you believe, and I happen to believe that it's a threat. I mean, they want to impose their will on the international global order. So they are there propping up Maduro. They even gave their social credit score technology to the Venezuelan government to empower them further. I mean, Venezuelans now have ID cards that monitor their activity, where they go, their involvement in things, can access their accounts. So basically, China is doing their totalitarianism in Venezuela and propping up Maduro. So that's the bigger concern there. Lots that has to happen, but it provides, Latin America in general provides an incredible opportunity. And I don't know, Kurt, if we have time for me to go. I've been talking a little while. Just stop me if you
go
need
for
me
it.
to, but,
no, this is good. Well, we got about 30 more seconds.
Okay. I'll be quick. China, obviously, we realize with COVID, we need to decouple and not be dependent upon China. That's one thing. When they were taking all the oil and minerals from Latin America, they drove up their currencies and made manufacturing not profitable in Latin American countries. And so Latin Americans bought cheap Chinese stuff. We got to fix that by our development, and then Latin America needs to focus on manufacturing. And we can decouple from China, move those jobs to Latin America. First America, but the United States, but then Latin America.
That's a great idea, Representative Mark Green. It was great to meet you at CPAC, and it was great to have you here on the Hugh Hewitt radio program. I'm guest host Kurt Schlichter. We will be right